Good morning, Bucknutters. Welcome to the Bucknuts Morning 5 here on Thursday, April 10th, 2025. I am Dave Biddle. Very happy to be joined by Steve Helwagen. Dan Rubin is off today. He's taking his son around on a college visit. He's still in the transfer portal, has 1 year left to play basketball, so they're visiting at least one college today. I don't know if they're visiting multiple, but so good luck to young Rubin on he's got so many people courting him that, somebody's going to be lucky to get him. But good luck to Dan and his son, Darren, as they go around looking for colleges. So we gave the Poobah and the Dean the day. Well, I don't know if they take whole days off, Steve, but we gave them the morning off. So it's me and Steve. We're going to preview what we're going to be looking for most 2 days from now at the spring game. Steve, first of all, I'm really glad that they're going to thud up, for about the first half of the first quarter with the starters, the established guys, and then they're going to play real football after that. I absolutely love that. Quarterbacks won't be live, but we're going to see some real football. We're going to see guys like Bo Jackson out there getting tackled to the ground. We're going to see Fahim Delane tackling people to the ground. Devin Sanchez, Riley Pettijohn, all these guys. I cannot wait to see some real football. I'm looking forward to that. So I wanted to start with that. Then we'll talk about quarterbacks. But just, are you excited to see some real football?
Oh, no doubt about it, Dave. I think so many young guys on this team. I think as you look at the, let's say 85-man scholarship list, about half of them have really never played any football at the Division I level. About 45 of them, excuse me, or they're new to Ohio State. So when you put it in those terms, transfers, redshirt freshmen, true freshmen, that, there's a lot of inexperience on this team. And that goes, obviously when you lose 15 starters, 16 starters, whatever the exact number is, you're going to have a lot of inexperience across the board, not just at quarterback, but at so many other positions. So trying to get those guys reps, trying to get them out in front of a crowd on Saturday, and we'll see how it all comes together.
We can't have a show without a dog barking. I love it. Brad is off today. Dan's dog. I have dogs upstairs. Can't hear them. Your dog's barking. I love it.
We got a new dog here, so that's livened things up a little bit.
Shout out to Dwayne Long, the late great Dwayne Long. We don't have him on the show, and couldn't even hear Dwayne talk because his dogs would be barking. I always thought that was funny. All right. So quarterbacks, a lot of people. So when I posted what Ryan Day said, I just quoted what Ryan Day said. He says Lincoln Kienholz and Julian Sander neck and neck right now. And everybody's like, oh, I don't believe that crap. That's the same crap they said last year about Will Howard and Devin Brown. He knew Will Howard was his guy. I hear what people are saying. And I do think Julian Sander is going to be the starting quarterback. But Lincoln does look good. And listen, it was 1 hour of one practice. So, Steve, it's like the absolute definition of a small sample size. It wasn't even a whole practice. It was a half of a practice of spring ball that we saw. Did Lincoln look better at Student Appreciation Day when we were out there than Julian? Yes. Very small sample size. But Lincoln looks good. He's now in his third year of just focusing on football. I think this is a real competition. But I do think Julian's going to be the guy. How would you assess it so far?
Yeah, I agree with you. We only saw one snippet of 15 days, and Lincoln did have the upper hand. He threw a bomb to Carnell Tate for a touchdown. He moved his team down the field pretty efficiently. Julian Sander also hit on a few good throws as well, but he made a fatal mistake. He threw off of his back foot, threw a bomb and tried to, get something deep, and Jermaine Matthews made him pay for it. So, again, you say that's a check mark for Kienholz and a minus for Sander, but, how have those check marks and minuses, how have they added up over the course of 15 days of practice? And I think that's what Billy Fessler and Brian Hartline and Ryan Day are trying to get to the bottom of, is who is the most consistent day in and day out. Kienholz, to me, looked like he's capable. Let's just say that. So if it comes to a situation where he has to play, I am not as freaked out about it as maybe I was watching him trot out there in the Cotton Bowl against Missouri when they were not respecting the run and just pinning their ears back and coming after him. And he was sitting in the press conference. I don't remember who was sitting there with him. It might have been Jack Sawyer. He goes, "This is a courageous dude right here said that about Keynotes. And, you almost, if you weren't crying, you had to laugh. But, it was a tough situation he was put into. And see, Dave, the thing is with these quarterbacks, and what I come back to is the 10 other people around them are going to be pretty good players. And if those guys all do their job the way they're supposed to do it, they'll make the quarterback look good. I think that's what all they need at this point.
Yeah, I was going to say that's my next thing, man. I mean, obviously we're going to be keeping a close eye on the quarterbacks. But again, this is just Pat was asking me when we did our instant reaction the other day, like, how much stock do you put in the spring game? I said a little bit. It's not nothing, but it's a very small data point. It's one of 15 practices in the spring. I don't put a lot of validity in what happens in the spring game, but it's not like it doesn't matter. But I don't think Ryan Day is going to make his – in fact, I know Ryan Day is not going to make his decision based on who plays better in the spring game. So we'll clearly be watching the quarterbacks closely. Offensive line, you touched on it, man. I mean, there's a lot more smoke now that Austin Sareveld could be the right tackle. I'm glad they have Phillip Daniels there as well. I'm pretty convinced Ethan Onion was going to be the starting left tackle. But if Sareveld's able to win that starting right tackle job, that would allow them to keep Luke Montgomery, Hinsman, Shabola, all the starters, and then as well as Sareveld. Those four guys kind of rotated between those. Well, the three guys rotated between the two guard spots, and Hinsman played center, obviously. But having all four of those guys back from the national championship run is nice. And Sareveld's having a great spring. He had a great winter. He was an Iron Buckeye, one of three guys to be Iron Buckeye, along with Jeremiah Smith and Sonny Styles. So Austin Sareveld, man, they're saying he looks great.
Yeah. He repped the other day. I wrote it down. I took video of about 50 plays. We had a snippet up on the site of about 10 plays that we were able to show. And as I went through the video, I charted the offensive line rotation, and Sareveld played some at left guard, some at right guard, and some at right tackle. He was just about the only guy who played more than one position. There might have been one other one who also Ian Moore perhaps may have moved around a little bit too. But so you look at it. How's it all going to settle in? Again, I'm not going to get wrapped around the axle about that. I presume Tyler Bowen is going to have a handle on that, the offensive line coach. He seems very competent. And to me, they're going to put the best five out there. And if something happens, then they'll put the next best five out there that are available. And that's how it's going to go. And I agree with you. I think Onion was set at left tackle, Montgomery at left guard, Hinsman at center. Shabola, about 90% certain, I'd say, at right guard. And then I think right tackle, Phillip Daniels and Sareveld, it's going to be a battle there. And, we'll see how it all shakes out. I enjoyed watching the offensive line the other day. I thought they did a reasonably good job in pass protection. Dominic Kirks, a defensive end, got through and sacked Sayin one time. And again, while I'm trying to film, it's kind of hard to watch, the pass rush and see who's coming from the backside and all these other things. But to me, I thought the offensive line, the last 2 years, the defensive line has caved in the offensive line for the most part during spring football. This year, I think it's gone the other way a little bit in favor of the offense.
Onionwa was a great get in the portal, an absolute fantastic get.
No doubt.
He's just going to lock down left tackle.
And the other thing at left tackle, Carter Lowe, the true freshman, he was about the only other guy who repped at left tackle. And I asked Carter Lowe at interviews last week, I said, where do they have you repping, Carter? He goes, strictly left tackle. And when he said that, I was like, oh, I get it. Okay, Onionwa this year. And then Lowe is the heir apparent at left tackle. I get it. I got it.
Makes a lot of sense, man. And Carter Lowe is huge.
Yes.
You're wondering when he comes in. I think he was listed at like 6'5" in the recruiting rankings. Sometimes those guys might be listed at 6'5" by their high school or in the recruiting, database. You come in, they're more like 6'4". Not this kid.
Yeah, I think he came in at 340. He's down to 320. Onionwa came in at 360, and he's down around 340 or lower.
Yeah. He's lost close to 30 pounds, he was saying. He said he's down at 335. And Phillip Daniels had a funny quote because he was like, he came in at 320 and he thought that was a good weight for him. That's what he played at. Started those 4 games late in the year for Minnesota and played well. Parlayed that into being able to transfer to Ohio State and possibly be the right tackle. He came in at 320. That's where he played last year. He felt good about that. They told me, we want you down to 315. And he was like, I don't really want to do that. And then, this kid's got a good personality. And then he lost the 5 pounds. He's like, no, I see why they wanted me to do it. I feel great. I feel light. So, but yeah, that's going to be a good battle there at right tackle to see what happens. And you mentioned Ian Moore's another guy that's in the mix there. So I like this depth on the offensive line and the experience they have coming back. Very much like it. All right, D tackle is another one I'm going to be keeping an eye on, okay? Not necessarily Edric Houston and Cade McDonald. We know about those guys, and I think they're both going to thrive as starters. Who's going to be the top backup? Is it going to be Will Smith Jr., Tywone Malone, Jason Moore, Eric Mensah? I guess right now I would guess Will Smith Jr., but they need to figure out who that top backup D tackle is, top 2 backup D tackles, really.
Yeah, I think Jason Moore is in that mix. Tywone Malone. I'm just reading off the roster so I don't miss anybody. I want to tell you, Caden McDonald shot through the gap and stopped a guy at the goal line. I don't know if it was the running back or the quarterback. I don't think it was the running back. Great play on the goal line. So if he continues his upward move, that's going to be great. Yeah, it's they need people to step up. Eric Mensah, 308 pounds. They need him to step up. Will Smith Jr. going into his 3rd year. He's been banged up a little bit in his career. It's his time. So yeah, I'm interested to seeing which defensive tackles step up and see who's making plays out there on Saturday at those positions, because that is a definite position of need, Dave.
Let's get to some questions real quick here. All right. No longer the man on YouTube. I don't know if we would say that.
You're still the man to me, bro.
You're still the man. Still the man on YouTube asks, are we underrating Aaron Scott?
No.
I'm not.
No.
I've been talking him up a lot. It's just one of those things where you have IGB back. You have Jermaine back. Those are going to be the starting outside corners. Although Jermaine's repping at the nickel too. Jermaine can move around.
And Lorenzo Styles.
Jermaine looks great. And then, Lorenzo Styles is probably going to be the guy there. Bryce West. But I've been saying Aaron Scott looks like an NFL corner right now. Devin Sanchez looks like an NFL corner right now. Devin Sanchez should be getting ready for his high school prom. So I think Aaron Scott and Devin Sanchez are going to play a lot. They're going to be on the 2 deep.
No question about it. No question about it. And it behooves you if you've got more corners to keep them fresh, because they'll run 7 miles in a given game. I mean, if you let them, it's crazy. With all the coverages and everything else that they have to do against these offenses nowadays. I never liked it when they just played 2 or 3 corners, and those guys can wear down. It's just kind of like the matter of attrition. Eventually, 3rd or 4th quarter, they can wear down. I think you keep those guys fresh for the crunch time if you need them, and get Scott and West and Sanchez in the game in the first half. That makes perfect sense to me, Dave. And, you don't have to put all 3 of them out there together. You put, Scott out there with 2 of the starters, and then West out there with 2 of the starters. You just kind of drop them in. You don't have to put all 3 of them in at the same time. Unless you're playing, Grambling or whoever early in the season, it probably wouldn't matter. But, I think to me, the depth they have in the secondary is as good as I've seen. And this whole Best in America thing, they won the national championship. They were pretty good in America last year. I think I think Best in America is right around the corner, though. So yeah, it's not far off.
Yeah, they're going to be Best in America again. They were the best secondary in college football last year. They're going to be the best secondary in college football again this year, and I absolutely love it. With the best defensive player in
Take away those pass interference and holding penalties. As my little league coach would say, use 2 hands making that catch, and I'll love you forever. So,
I think IGB is going to have a big senior year. I really do. I believe in that kid. I know he's too handsy, but I think they're going to coach that out of him enough. He's physical. He's tough. He's competitive. He's athletic. He's big. Talking about a guy that looks like an NFL corner. He looks bigger than NFL corners. You don't see a lot of 6'2" corners with long arms like that. Devin Sanchez is another 6'2" corner. All right, the Oracle. Can we have a true competition if the beat writers and other media are all picking Julian saying? Well, I don't think Ryan Day gives a crap what we think. No. So, it doesn't matter. And I think we're being pretty fair saying it is. I took some heat for saying I think it is a legit competition. People are like, oh, Dave, you shouldn't be so naive. And I'm like, come on. I really do. Do I think Sayan's going to be the guy? Yes. Do I think it's a legit competition? Yes, I wouldn't rule out Lincoln by any means. He looks good. Anyway, to answer your question, yeah, we can have a true competition because I don't think Ryan Day gives a crap what the media says.
Yeah, I think that this is only a good thing. As I said, if there comes a situation where Lincoln Keenholz has to go in a game, I am not the least bit concerned about it. One, because he's got great people around him, as I alluded to earlier. And two, because he seemed very capable there on Saturday. I mean, he's got a lot of poise, and he can also run the football if he has to. All three of the quarterbacks can run the football. Tavian St. Clair, is kind of learning as he goes, but he had one scramble. He trucked the safety, I think 28. I don't remember the name, 28 or 38. He just trucked this poor kid down about the 5-yard line.
Roker. Leroy.
Yeah, he looked like Cardale out there rumbling down the field. He's as big as Cardale. So, I like it. I like where they're at quarterback. I want to see on Saturday, Dave. I think both those guys are going to get about 25 throws, and St. Clair will probably get about 15, or whatever. And let's see it. Let's see who's got it, and let's see who can be consistent and complete passes and get first downs and put points on the board. That's what's important.
Steve and I are going to talk much more Ohio State football in just a moment. We're also going to talk about Mark Pantoni getting paid. We'll probably finish the show talking about Ohio State basketball, tapping back into that very rich Wright State market. Didn't work out really too well with Tanner Holden. Will it work out well with Brandon Knoll? We'll get Steve's thoughts on that. Before we do that, I'm going to let you guys know about my friends over at Gooder sunglasses. Love it. And it's a great deal you guys can get. I'm showing you the box because I left my actual sunglasses in my car. Should have had them with them. But you guys know I love the Operation Blackouts. Those are my favorite. If you're not familiar with Gooder sunglasses, here's some things that I really want you guys to know. They're stylish. They start at just $25 a pair. It's a pretty good combination. Stylish, $25 a pair. You get a 1-year warranty, and you get 30-day free returns. They're lightweight and comfortable. They're 100% polarized. They fit great. There's no slip, no bounce. There's tons of styles to choose from. Again, I'm a personal favorite of the Operation Blackout, but they've got tons. If you need a new pair of sunnies, Gooder is giving Bucknuts Morning 5 listeners free shipping. You can go to gooder.com/Bucknuts and use code Bucknuts for free shipping. Gooder offers a 30-day money-back guarantee and 100% satisfaction. Again, that's gooder.com/Bucknuts. Use code Bucknuts for free shipping. You never leave home without them, baby. All right. Now, before we move on and talk about some other stuff, I want to get to a couple more questions here. Mike, good question here. When is the spring? Because I'm sure a lot of people are wondering this on both ends. When is the spring transfer portal, and is Ohio State looking for any position in particular? It is, about 2 weeks after spring ball ends?
I think it starts on Monday.
Oh, it starts this Monday. I knew it was after.
I think it was mid-April last year. Yeah.
Yeah, I was thinking it was like in the 20s, but I could be wrong on that. Yeah, so it starts right after spring ball. I'm gonna look up the exact date. And is Ohio State going to look? Yeah, they will. It's going to be tough because I think they'll look at a D tackle. Yeah, good call, Steve. It opens on April 16th. And it closes on April 25th.
Yeah.
It opens on April 16th, and I thought it was only a week. It opens on April 16th, and it closes on April 25th. All right. So, yeah, I think they'll look at a D tackle to add depth there, unless they're just convinced that, we got enough depth. Coach Dave mentioned that was the first thing that came out of his mouth when I asked about the portal. That was entering spring, though, Steve. That was right before they started practicing. I'm like, do you plan on adding to the portal after spring, and what position might you look at? He's like, we're always going to keep an eye on it. We're always going to be looking at the portal. And the first position out of his mouth was he said defensive line, just period, but defensive tackle. So yeah, I think they will. Will they land anybody? I have no idea, but they'll definitely look. All right, next one, then we can move on. This is from X. Benjamin, not Button. Is James Peoples' stock rising? Heck yeah, it is. I've been saying and I've changed this. I was saying about midway through spring, we're not talking enough about James Peoples. Everybody knows he's running with the ones. He's going to be the starter, but it's everybody's like, oh yeah, James Peoples is a starter. He's going to be good. And we just move on. C.J. Donaldson looks good. Bo Jackson looks good. Those things are true, but the starting tailback, Steve Helwagen, is going to be James Peoples, and he looks awesome. So is his stock rising? Yes, Benjamin, it is.
Yeah, I like the running back position. Everything I've seen with Peoples, Donaldson caught a pass out of the backfield and rumbled for yards and trucked a dude on the business end, which I thought was pretty cool. Not cool for that defensive player, but pretty cool to see a running back out there putting his Judkins down and going and getting it. And then Bo Jackson, he had a run inside, outside, inside, outside, like 20 yards. I mean, it was beautiful. And if he runs like that, you know how at Ohio Stadium, he'll get past the first wave and that roar will just start. And then he gets 25 yards and it's just people are going nuts. They love the running game at Ohio State. They really do. And an 8-yard gain is a cause for a crowd pop a lot of times. But, you know, that kid's going to have a lot of those because he is tough as nails. And I thought it was really humorous the other day, Ryan Day going through the list of the running backs. He goes, even Sam Williams-Dixon, you know, is how he said it.
The way he said that was like, he said, even
surprisingly, he's good.
Wait, even him?
Yeah.
You hear that and you're Sam Williams-Dixon. Like, he just waxed poetic about Bo Jackson. He didn't say even Bo. He was like, then he gets to say even Sam is looking good. Like,
yeah, I think you got 4 guys there. You got 4 dudes, and Carlos Lachlan is the dude of all dudes coaching them. So there you go.
Yeah. If they need an extra running back, maybe we can sneak him out there. Jeez, Carlos Lachlan. He does not miss a day in the weight room. I don't think he misses a minute in the weight room. Goodness gracious. He
misses a day on anything. He lives his life to the fullest, buddy.
I tell you what, I mean, Ryan Day is doing a fantastic job. We have to give props to Urban Meyer, not just for bringing Ryan here. Urban gets props for that, but how about the infrastructure that he created, Urban Meyer, with Mickey Marotti, who was getting heat from fans. You don't hear that anymore after last year. They stayed. I know they had the 2 major injuries on the offensive line. Overall, for 16 games in a violent sport, that team stayed overall pretty damn healthy. And they were fresh. They were the fresher teams when they were wearing teams down in the playoffs. So Marotti, being able to be a first-time head coach at a place like Ohio State, you better have good infrastructure, and you couldn't have a better strength coach than Mickey Marotti. Then what else did Urban leave him? Mark Pantoni. General manager wasn't a thing at the time. It was like director of player personnel, but now general manager is a thing. And I was thrilled to see, and I'm not surprised. I know Mark Pantoni's happy here. And I don't know the exact figures, but I'm sure he's getting a pretty penny. Mark Pantoni's getting paid. For those who don't know, he signed a contract extension yesterday. He's going to be at Ohio State for the foreseeable future. I absolutely love that. I mean, Pantoni, talking about BIA, Steve, I think he's best in America at what he does.
Yeah, no doubt about it. The proof's in the pudding. Every year they have a top 5 class. Mark and his staff of people, he's properly staffed. They are watching film all day, every day, high school prospects. They have a file on anybody with a pulse that plays the game of football. And now college prospects as well. He's got a guy in his office or 2 that are mining the transfer portal every day. That's their job, strictly transfer portal. And they are in there to find as people enter the portal or to be prepared when people enter the portal to put their claim in on them. So I think it's been a well-oiled machine over the years, the way they've invited kids to camp, the way they've invited kids to practices. I mean, you go on Twitter and it's littered every day with, I'm coming to practice today, 20 kids every day at practice. They've made Ohio State the place to be. And they're in a position now where they are pretty much selecting. On our show yesterday that I did with Tony, we talked about how maybe they're not paying 5-star guys, like some other schools are out of high school because they have to pay their returning starters so much at Ohio State. But I don't get the sense that that's hurt their recruiting one iota. That may explain why the Sanders kid went elsewhere, or whatever, that offensive lineman, maybe he got a better deal money-wise up front somewhere else. But, to me, with the way they're doing it and the way they have to do it under this current climate, they're doing it right.
I love what they're doing in the portal. I mean, you couldn't have a better example than last year. I mean, it's incredible to get Caleb Downs, Quinshon Judkins, Will Howard. I mean, unbelievable to get those guys all in the portal. Kaz Merrick. Who am I leaving out? I'm leaving out somebody that was like, Seth McLaughlin, just the best center in college football. I mean, They went 5 for 5 there. It was unbelievable.
5 home runs.
I know they got the safety from South Carolina, Nelson, just to add depth. Really, the 5 guys that they
He's
brought
like in
in
the witness protection program. I don't know that I've ever seen him in person. I don't know.
Keenan Nelson.
Yeah.
Yeah, he
He's
sat
out
next to us he sat next to me at a foundation event. That's like I think the only time I've seen him. But
yeah, we met
and
him
this
there.
is
I
the
remember
thing, man.
that.
They don't go after a ton of guys, but the guys they land are just key pieces. Oni Onwa, to me, I can't believe that he's ranked as the 13th best offensive tackle in the portal. Like there's no way that's accurate. Like you had
He's
people
good.
saying he could have been a second round pick in this year's draft.
He's
That was
good.
a fantastic get. Then you get Daniels on top of that as like your number 2 guy. At least will provide solid depth. Might be the starting right tackle. You get C.J. Donaldson. I mean, you get Logan George, who they're saying is going to be the top backup defensive end. They really like him. They keep doing a good job of just filling holes, not doing anything crazy. But yeah, and I agree with people who are saying. I think Doreen brought this up first. I wouldn't be surprised if they land a quarterback just for depth. And we've also had questions, Steve. People are asking, whoever loses this quarterback battle, are they going to transfer after spring? No, because he's not going to declare a winner or a loser. Both these guys are going to be here in the fall, Julian and Lincoln, for sure.
I think Keenholz
too.
I think Keenholz can stay because even if he stays through the end of the season, he still has 2 years of eligibility where he would go somewhere else and he would handpick a place where he would go in as a starter, even if it's a drop down to the American Conference or whatever it might be. But he would be, believe me, if anybody sees that practice tape from the other day, anybody from about 25 down to 135 would be thirsting for that kid. Trust me.
No doubt about it. Yes, and thank you, Dan, for reminding me about Max Clare, another excellent.
Oh, yeah, Clare.
Yeah. My gosh, this tight end room is as good as I've ever seen at Ohio State. And that's despite losing a hell of a good player and leader in G. Scott. So nothing against G. Scott Jr., of course. By the way, don't forget, everybody, give G. Scott Sr. a happy birthday wish tomorrow. I'm just saying, man, Ohio State loses talent all the time. You lose G, not good, but then you bring in Max Clare. You have Kazmarek coming back. His position coach calls him the best blocker in college football, Will Kazmarek. And, I mean, you got Jelani Thurman is just dripping with talent. Bennett Christian. I mean, this is a unbelievable tight end room. Thank you for the reminder on Max Clare. All right, Steve, tapping into that Wright State market again. Didn't work out well at Tanner Holden. Brandon Knowles coming in. He's a 6'4" or 6'4". Good thing he's not a 6'4", 6'8", 240-pound power forward from Lucasville, Ohio. Played high school at Chillicothe. Really good player at Wright State. So he'll actually be a 6th-year senior. Really good young man, athletic, can shoot the 3. Rebounding stats look good, but big jump going from the Horizon League to the Big Ten physically. I hope he can handle it physically. Steve, I feel like if he's coming here as like a backup 4, just a top backup, I think it's a good get. If he's coming here as the starting 4, I'm not convinced. What are your thoughts?
Well, I think that's for Jake Diebler to figure out. He's now got 12 pretty good scholarship pieces. I mean, they cut out all the dead wood that really didn't move the needle from last year with, Bradshaw and Mahaffey and Etzler and a lot of these other players that really gave you zero production. You now have guys that are capable of producing. We'll see if they're capable of producing at the Big Ten level. That's the big question. But Noel comes, he's a grown man, 6'8", 245. People aren't going to shove him around. And if he can give him 15 to 20 minutes, and then Stewart can give him 15 or 20 minutes. The freshman, Amari Bynum, is coming in, who's pretty good. Royal can play power forward if he needs to. I think they're still looking for one more player out of the portal, a slasher, to kind of replace what Micah Parrish was able to do for them last year, getting the ball to the basket and also hitting threes. I guess they're really working hard, or they were as of yesterday, on a kid from Southern Illinois by the name of Kennard Davis Jr. And I watched his tape. Again, this is from the Missouri Valley Conference. He looked pretty good to me, probably an all-conference performer at Southern Illinois. So, we'll see how it goes. They're under some constraints. The revenue share of the $20 million from Ohio State, other schools are going to give basketball more of that money than Ohio State is. The lion's share of that money is going to football. So that puts it on our friends at the foundation and the collectives to raise money to go out and buy basketball players. And they're stretched pretty thin. I mean, that may explain why they didn't get, Power 5 conference players. They're taking guys from the mid-major ranks and, trying to do this on a budget. Plus they overspent to keep the big three, Mobley, Thornton, and Royal in place. The marketplace for those guys dictated that they got extra money that maybe wasn't being thought of when this process started. So, again, I guess keep a good thought. Yeah, it's been 3 terrible years in a row. I give it to you. It's been 13 years since they were worth a crap. So, it's time. It's time for Diebler to get this thing going the right way or improve it this year. Maybe he's not the guy if he can't. The message boards tell us what the rank and file are feeling. And I think to a man, to a woman, that's what they're feeling, that he gets one shot. He's got to get it done this year. The first year was not a good year. Some bad pickups out of the transfer portal. And that can't happen again. Dave, I think you're muted.
I was muted because I coughed. So revive the vine is the motto. Revive the vine, because a wise man told Gene Smith, this basketball program has died on the vine. We need to revive the vine. That's the motto for this.
I could write a book. I should write a book about
my book's going to be on all the drama I've seen on the Ohio State beat over my 20 plus years. I used to think I was joking. Now people are like, you should actually write that book. It'd be a New York Times bestseller. I'm like, maybe. We'll see. All right.
Jeter and Mariano Rivera and O'Neal and they just keep chugging along, don't they? It's kind of amazing. You and me and Bill and Dan have been together 15 years, and then Pat's been with us almost 10. So stability rules, bro. That's all I got to say about that.
That's right. Good stuff from Steve Helwagen as usual. Thank you very much, Steve. I'll be with you guys tomorrow with Jay Book as usual on Fridays. Thanks again to Steve. Thanks to all of you. We really appreciate it. Hope everyone has a great rest of your day. Go Bucks.